Hello and welcome back. My name's Aaron. If you're new to the channel, this is a place where I will build things on a regular basis out of random bits and pieces. And there's nothing more randomer, is that such a word? Who knows, who cares? There's nothing as random as finding this that's been sat in the bottom of your drawer for a good 2-3 months, and it's basically a kit model for a car out of balsa wood. Is that how you pronounce it? Balsa? That's how we pronounce it in the UK anyway. So what I'm going to do is just going to try and make my own version of a retro Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Terrain by Aaron style. Now I'm pretty sure that everybody's seen the film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang at some point in their life, so I'm going to stay with the wings and try and make them as close as possible to the actual film, and everything else will just be my bits and pieces, I guess. So after quickly looking over the instructions, and boy was there a lot of instructions, I started taking the pieces apart and was quick to work out that this stuff was fragile, and I mean frustratingly fragile. The wood glue that it gave you would probably last or take about 24 hours to dry, so I just used super glue, and slowly and surely, after breaking piece after piece, built the car up. This was one of those deals that I think that I spotted on Amazon, and it was half price, and boy am I glad it's half price, because the full price kit's probably around about 30-40 euros. If you were buying the full price one, man, you would have to be kid gloves with it, because of the little tiny thin pieces that you've got to take off the sprue first, sand down, and then put onto the actual chassis. So you can see that I was using the wood glue, but it was getting frustrating because the time it was taking for the wood glue to actually set, and then trying to put the seats on, they didn't fit either. There was an awful lot of fiddly bits where I had to file down and sand down and trim and cut just to try and get everything to fit. So I think I've done enough whinging about the actual model, and would I buy it again? Probably not, but then again, if it was on offer, probably will. But for the full price kit, no, I wouldn't bother. It was too messy.
I think we've got the general idea that you didn't like building this model.
Yep, that's true, George. And for all the people who don't know who George is, that's George. He's the my sidekick for the duration of the video. Say hello, George.
Hello, you beautiful, sexy people.
And unfortunately, George, you had your first kind of hate mail the other day.
Yes, I've seen it. Get rid of the skull and talking, but the build was okay. Everyone's a critic and has their own opinion, I suppose.
And that's so very true. But you're sticking around for a while, George, don't you worry.
No one liked David Bowie's Tin Machine, but now it's considered a classic.
Well, let's move on. I'll talk about the build. So as you can see, I've built the car up as best I could, tried to get everything to stick down as best I could. I found myself with a lot of extras, bits and pieces, so me being me, decided to start using some of that for extra little bits. So I grabbed one of the rings that was from one of the wheels, and just stuck them down to the inside of this, I think it was a biscuit container, plastic bit, because it had some nice texture on the bottom, and used that so it was like an air vent. I haven't stuck rivets on a model for a while, so I got out my favourite bit of kit, which is my different rivets, and just stuck them down to give it that sort of rivet look. And then it was onto the wings for the front and the back, so I'm just using some thin EVA foam and just draw out a basic shape and then just cut it out with a very sharp hobby knife, because this stuff will blunt all your knives quicker than you can say Jack Frost.
Usain Bolt would have been a better term.
And that's exactly why I keep you in a box on a night time. So what I'm doing now is just marking out the side wings, and just again it's just eyeballing what looks good, and then I'm just going to lightly score the EVA foam just to give it that little bit of a different texture for the wing, and then just copy that, making sure to use the opposite side, and then stick it down to the underneath of the car. And that's the general bit. And now on to the greebles. These were highlighter pens that were just small ones that I just took apart, and then just going to stick it down to some grating, some plastic grating, just to make it look like it's like an air vent. And then I'm just going to place these on all the wings, just so it sort of looks like a jet vent, and then use some garden wire just to connect everything and make it kind of like it belongs. Getting the plastic to stick to the balsa wood was pretty easy. It surprised me, because nothing else sort of seemed to stick. The balsa didn't want to stick to balsa unless I used the super glue. Anyway, have I complained enough about this model? Never mind. So with the vents all stuck down, I then, like I said, used the garden wire just to join them together. Then I found these random rubber connectors for piping and thought they would look good for an exhaust, so I used two of them and just stuck them onto the back of the car. And then I used a lid from a child's, like a baby's juice drink, just for the top bit.
And while we're watching you stick that down, now is as good a time as any to politely ask all the 62% of you sexy peeps who watch that haven't subscribed to perhaps subscribe and help the channel grow. It's free and you can always turn off the notifications. But smash the like button while you're turning off the notifications. Laters gators.
So what I did just before priming was covered it all in just Mod Podge, just to make sure that the EVA foam was hard enough for the rattle can of black that I sprayed the vehicle in. And then I thought I was going to give it a sort of like brass colour, so just painted it all in copper, and then waited a while, and the colour just wasn't doing it for me. So I thought if I just paint the wings, it might sort of bring out the colour of the vehicle. So what I'm doing now is just trying to match as best I could with the paints that I had, the same colour as the wings from the actual Chitty Chitty Bang Bang film. Now, they may be too bright at the moment, but I am going to hit it with a black wash later down the line, just to tone down the brightness. But once I'd done the wings, I still waited for a while and the colour still wasn't looking brilliant. So that's when I decided to repaint everything. So I decided to go green with the main body of the vehicle, and I do believe the colour of the paint that I'm using is forest green. And what I did was I just left some of the edges in the brass colour and just sort of like stippled it on just to give it that sort of like chipped worn effect. I've done it in loads of my builds in the past. If you haven't seen those videos, go check out the back catalogue, as they say. And then I wanted to take out the writing on the side of the doors, so I just used some thin styrene, cut it into a little rectangle, and then just painted over it, and we're ready for the glamour shots. So as always, thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, even share if you want. And until next time, keep scratching that build.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So what did we learn this week, George?
Well, what I learnt is you're a nightmare with changing the colour scheme halfway through a build, and also you're not a fan of balsa wood.
Well, you're half right. I am a fan of balsa wood. It's just the kit was a little bit too fiddly. Hey, nice hat. Where did you get the hat from?
Thanks. You can call me the G-Man. A fan sent it to me.
Hang on now. You're getting fan mail? I think we need to talk. Oh my god, I just seen that.